Hi OTC Fit Life, it's Terry, and happy holidays. I got my festive apron on. All right, so today we're making a traditional twist, a dish, but we're gonna put a twist on it. See, I twisted those words up for you. So we're gonna do a French onion chicken dish. So a little twist on French onion soup. So we're basically gonna be making French onion soup, paring it down just a little bit, but we're gonna be putting some chicken in it. And it's going to be a very decadent meal. Not a lot of ingredients in this, so you want to make sure that whatever you use are really top ingredients. And I will tell you that this is going to take a little while to cook. This would be an excellent Sunday meal, but you're going to have to plan accordingly. It's not something you're going to put together in about half an hour. The onions are going to take a while to cook. All right, so I have my ingredients assembled here. There's a few on the side that I haven't put in yet, but that's basically salt and pepper and butter and stuff like that. So we're gonna start with our boneless, skinless chicken breast, and I've seasoned these with salt and pepper. You can also use chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs if you'd like. It's really up to you. These are just easy to cook. And then of course we've got our onions. This is about 1.5 sweet onions that have been sliced very thin. Your food processor will be your favorite friend for this dish, I promise. And then we have some garlic and some fresh thyme, some good quality balsamic vinegar. Make sure you use some good quality balsamic. This is a good one right here, it's a good brand. But that's gonna help caramelize the onions and give us that really nice flavor. And then we have a little brandy for a kick. Now, if you don't like brandy, you can use white wine. I would use about a cup of white wine. Dry white wine. I didn't have any open, so the brandy came in handy. It's still going to be good though. And then we have our beef broth here. And then of course we have our French bread, because French onion soup has French bread. All right, so let me get my skillet going over here. All right, so I'm basically just going to brown my chicken breasts and then I'm going to take them off. And then we're going to put our onions in and start cooking those. So what we're going to do is just start with a small component of the chicken breast and then brown our onions, caramelize them, and that's going to take a while. Those probably going to take at least 30 minutes just for that, because you want to do it slow. You don't want to do it on high heat where you're going to burn them. You want to do them medium to low heat so that way they caramelize. After our chicken has been browned, we'll take it off, put it aside, caramelize our onions, and then we will season it with the garlic and then our beef broth and our balsamic vinegar, and then we'll do some brandy in there. We'll throw all those components together, top it with some Swiss cheese, and then we're going to serve a nice arugula salad on the side that's been tossed in an oil vinegar. Nothing too heavy or too fancy, because we really want this to shine. We don't want the salad to be the winner in this. We want the chicken dish to be the winner. All right, so come on over here and let's get this going. All right, so I have my pan on medium-high heat and a few turns of olive oil here. Now we're going to be using both butter and olive oil when we come to the onions. I really like using the butter in there because it gives that nice rich flavor to it, but butter burns. So we want to incorporate the olive oil because it's got a higher smoke point to it. Right, I can see my pan is nice and hot, so I'm going to put in my chicken breast. So you want to make sure you have a big enough skillet for all of your onions, because I'm using, I would say that's probably about 4 cups of sliced onions. So you want to make sure it's large enough and that it can go into an oven as well. We need to broil the chicken and the cheese, so we want something that we can slip in the oven. So we're going to let this cook on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes so we have a nice sear on it. And then we'll take them out. Now they're not going to cook completely at this time. We just want both sides to be brown. It's not going to take too terribly long. You want to make sure that you are generous with your salt and pepper on your chicken. We have a tendency to be very careful with the salt. If you have high blood pressure, don't add as much salt, especially since we're going to be using the chicken or the beef broth in this. These are going to have a few minutes, and I'm going to grab another plate. We don't want to put our chicken on the raw plate. Even though it's not going to be cooked completely, I just don't want to put it back on there. Alright, I'm going to come out in just another minute. These are coming out. And they're going to the side. Now I'm going to turn this down because I don't want this to be too hot and burn. And in with a little more olive oil. And Harley is going to be our taste tester for anything that drops on the floor today, it looks like. Next, we're going to be adding some butter. I'm going to add a few tablespoons of butter in this. And we really want to leave all those pieces in the bottom of the pan because it's going to bring that flavor together from the chicken. So we want to keep everything in there. Next, I'm taking my onions. And it's going to be up on medium heat. Alright, now we're going to use a little salt and pepper in here. The salt is going to help bring the moisture out in the onions and start breaking it down. Alright, so we just want to start cooking these down. Now they look like a lot right now, but they're really not going to be a whole lot when we're finished cooking them. They're really just going to be probably about a quarter or a third of the size of what they started. You can see they're starting to break down already. It's not, the pan doesn't look as full as it was before. And we're going to cook them over medium heat until they're nice and caramelized. And when I say caramelized, I mean I don't want them burnt and I don't want them white like this. I want them that nice, deep, dark caramel color. When you caramelize a vegetable, it has natural sugars in it, so the caramelization is going to bring out those natural sugars in it. We'll add a little balsamic as we get closer to the end, and then we'll start incorporating the rest of the dish. So stay tuned. I'm going to caramelize these onions and come back in a few minutes, or probably about 20 minutes, and these should be the perfect color then. All right, welcome back. So it's been about 25 minutes, and we've cooked our onions down. You can see how much they've cooked down, and they have that nice caramel color to them. I've been stirring them, making sure that they don't burn. And that's the big thing, is scraping the bottom and making sure that they don't burn. All right, so now we're gonna finish with the rest of our ingredients. All right, so I've got my onions in here. Next, I'm gonna add my garlic and let this cook for a second. We don't want it to burn. Now I added this last because I didn't want it to stay in the pot too long and get too bitter. Next we're going to add our balsamic vinegar, and this is about 1/4 cup. And we've got a little over 2 cups of beef broth here. That goes in there. All right, now we're gonna let this cook for just a second. Then we're gonna add our chicken back in here. We're gonna pop some fresh thyme in there, and I'm not gonna take the thyme off of the stems because it's gonna come off itself, and I can pick it out. And once I put everything in here, then I'll put the chicken in the oven and bake it off till the chicken's cooked for about 20 minutes. It's at 375 right now. Now, if you don't have a skillet that's large enough to go into the oven, or that can go in the oven, then you could cover it and leave it on the stove top. I just like putting this in the oven because I will be putting cheese on it, and I'm going to be broiling the cheese. All right, so there we go. Turn that up just a little bit. And let's get our fresh thyme and our brandy. Now, if you don't want any alcohol in it, that's fine. This just adds a nice little flavor to it. All right, so we just poured our brandy in there. And next I'm going to put some fresh thyme leaves in here. And I'm just gonna leave them on the stem. I'm gonna put about 4 stems in there. Now you can see how rich that looks. All right, next we're gonna nestle our chicken back in our French onion. So we want to incorporate that. Really make sure it's in there. And it's got all that goodness surrounding that chicken. Now, that looks amazing. All right, so this goes off. And then we're gonna pop it in our oven that's at 375 degrees for about 20 minutes until that chicken is cooked through. And then once it's cooked through, then I'm going to top it with some cheese and we're going to broil it. And then we'll assemble our plate. So stand by and come back in about 20 minutes and we'll check on our chicken. All right, welcome back. So we've had our chicken in the oven for about 25 minutes, and I put the Swiss cheese on top and I've put it under the broiler. So you can see that it really has a beautiful color to it. It is nice and thick. And in my plate here, I've got my French bread, because of course you have French bread in your French onion soup. I'm gonna take some of this wonderful onion mixture here and then just kind of spin it over the bread. So we really want it to absorb that flavor. And then take a piece of chicken here and set it on top. There we go. And next we're gonna put a side of our arugula salad. This is just tossed with some nice balsamic vinegar and olive oil right here, and then just serve it on the side. And there you go. There is your French onion chicken with your arugula salad for your side. And like I said, this takes about a good hour to cook, so you want to make sure you take the time to caramelize the onions. You're going to add some balsamic vinegar in with that, and of course your beef stock and your brandy, just to give it a little bit of a flavor. And then you're going to put your chicken in there that you've browned in the skillet and bake it off in the oven, and then top it with your Swiss cheese and broil it. So hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have any suggestions, recipes you'd like for me to try, please shoot me a line. I'd love to know what you would like. And I hope everybody's doing well and you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thanks for eating with me today. Ciao.